Could we see a new Paper Mario game in 2022? Paper Mario is a series that has undergone some of the most changes of any game series. One day it's a turn-based combat game, the next it's a 2D platformer with RPG features. Today, we'll be using the series history to determine the foggy future of Paper Mario's next entry. To figure out when Paper Mario 7 might release, we need to first take a look back at the history of Paper Mario's release schedule. On average, Paper Mario entries take 4 years to come out. Considering that the Origami King is going to be 2 years old this July, it's safe to say that we're not getting a new entry anytime soon. However, with Nintendo being the king of left field, anything is possible. Either way, it's fair to assume another one is in development, because despite how mixed the reception of the previous couple of games have been, Intelligent Systems and Nintendo don't seem ready to abandon the series. I mean, it got a game on the Wii U a year before the Switch was released, proving that their faith in the series is immense. The plot of Paper Mario 7 is one of the most unpredictable parts about it. Surely Nintendo is aware of the divide in the franchise by now, which leaves them with two options. They can either decide to stick to their guns and create more games with lackluster plots akin to that of Sticker Star and Color Splash, or they could side with the Thousand Year Door fans. If I were in charge of Nintendo, I would want to return to the Thousand Year Door Super Paper Mario type of story. The kind of epic fantasy story that fits the idea of classic RPG with good characters, suspense, and an interesting lore. Mixed with that classic Paper Mario charm, of course. Unfortunately, I'm not in charge of Nintendo, or else I wouldn't be here writing this script right now. So I should instead look at this objectively to try and deduce what Nintendo wants to do with their IP. The safest answer is that Nintendo wants to continue the linear progression they've been following for the past 3 entries, with each game having a similar feel, but being objectively better than their predecessor. We can see this concept in the Origami King, which has a focus on paper gimmicks like in Sticker Star and Color Splash, but also expands upon the story, world building, and characters from the previous 2 games. Speaking of characters, what is to be said of them in Paper Mario 7? Well, in an interview with Kensuke Tanabe, game designer for the Origami King, he stated, "From the production of Paper Mario Sticker Star onwards, we were no longer able to graphically represent individual characteristics such as age, gender, etc. in the Toad NPCs, or non-playable characters. And so it has become that much more important to convey their personalities simply through text. Our writer, Mr. Taro Kudo, has been grappling with this difficult challenge since Paper Mario Sticker Star, but has managed to achieve giving all the text a sense of humor. In this installment, Paper Mario the Origami King, we were able to include some Toads wearing an outfit to match the role, and also created original origami characters. The Origami King pushes these limits to their max, with Ollie and Olivia being outside of the Super Mario world, having Toads with unique outfits and witty dialogue, and having a pretty solid story compared to the previous 2 entries. To elaborate, Paper Mario 7's characters will likely have basic designs with witty dialogue, and oftentimes will be familiar characters, like in Origami King. As for the gameplay, I want to take a look at this subjectively for a second. I would like to see the battle system go back to that classic turn-based, horizontal view system of the first 2 games. Something that's simple, maybe even cliche, but something that works. Bring back badges too, those were cool. Alternatively, it would be very interesting to see the cross 2D and 3D mechanics of Super Paper Mario be expanded upon even further. It's easy for me to give my opinions on where I'd like the franchise to be headed, but looking at the next entry objectively is much harder. Of all components of Paper Mario 7, the gameplay is definitely the one that's the most unpredictable. Not long after the Origami King's release, Tanabe said, "Striving to find new and innovative systems is the foundation of the philosophy my team and I are following when developing games. As such, I think it's a necessity that the combat system changes in every game. Due to this, it's obvious that the next game will have a combat system different from any previous game. The combat system will still be turn-based, with a new spin on it, like with Origami. As true with most Paper Mario games, once Mario reaches the enemy, there will likely be the basic hammer or boot attack. Aside from that, it's up in the air what they'll replace the ring puzzle system with. If I had to guess, I'd say the next combat system continues with puzzles, this time in a new light. It's hard to say exactly what this new combat system will look like, but if you watched The Future of Paper Mario, you'd know that I'd love to see a new combat system centered around mind controlling your enemies. And now, the biggest thing that's been missing from this series since TTYD? Partners. Origami King kinda brought them back, but except for Olivia, they were temporary and had pretty simple designs. I'm talking about full-blown partners who stay with Mario for the whole game. Bringing them back would also help boost the story, since they could be those good characters with interesting arcs that I've mentioned before. Now, don't I essentially just want TTYD? Yeah, kinda. Paper Mario did something that many series don't really tend to do, and that's changed the formula of this series with pretty much every new entry. That's admirable in a sense, but I think that after 4 games, it'd be nice to return to the roots of the series. Make a game that celebrates what made Paper Mario such a beloved franchise in the first place. Add in the things that they wish they could have implemented in the past, refine the things that they did implement, etc. Am I just a nostalgia baby? Why, yes. How could you tell? More seriously though, I do find it admirable that Intelligent Systems didn't want the series to stagnate and decide to innovate every chance they got. But I think it's also alright once in a while to dabble in that nostalgia a bit and sort of go back to your roots. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. This has been Brett from Game Domain, and I'll see you in another video.